So let's talk about the last part of the real estate process. Now, when I say the last part, doesn't mean this person or people will come into fruition much sooner than that. But we're going to be talking about the title company. The title company is basically who is going to be handling the closing of your real estate transaction. The way I describe it to clients in simple terms is this is basically the watchdog or the person that polices the transaction. All right. So the title company is going to be notified within the next couple days once you go into your contract execution. So maybe a day or two after all parties have signed their purchase agreement, either the seller agent or the buyer agent will submit this information to the title company. Now, depending on what part of the state you're living in, because there's many choices of title companies, depending on what area that you live in, Ohio is going to dictate who gets to decide what title companies chose. Sometimes it's the seller if it's in the central Ohio market. Other parts of the Ohio is going to be the buyer, and the buyer is going to choose who, what, and what title company. There's no law or rule; it's just how it's always been done. And check with your mentor, and they can kind of give you a little bit better idea on the area that you're at. So, well, let's talk about a title company. Who are they? Who do we deal with? When did they come into play and everything? Well, company issues title insurance. They basically are, like I said, they research. So when a buyer is purchasing a piece of property, they're going to make sure that that property is clear. There's no liens on the property and is actually owned by the person that's selling it. No, I know that sounds silly, but sometimes you might be buying a piece of property from a company, a trust, and we want to make sure whoever is signing off on that transaction has legal right to do so. Also, too, sometimes title companies maintain escrow accounts where a buyer might put money as an earnest money into an account and they'll hold that money until closing. And most importantly for you, for example, is they are the ones that pay you. Title companies, part of their job is to make sure everyone gets paid at the end of the day, down to the penny. They will be issuing you a settlement statement, which I want you to look and review a settlement statement with your mentor to understand what those are. Every real estate transaction has a settlement statement, and that's just a breakdown of every single cost and fee that was associated and with that real estate transaction. Everything from property taxes to realtor fees, as well as, I mean, I've seen 50-cent fees such as binding fees, which they charge a client 50 cents to put them in a binder, which might be, what they hand them to at closing. So just take a look at that. What most important is when you look at a settlement statement is to make sure your commission is correct. That way you get paid on a timely fashion. The title company, they're going to be the ones that pay you at closing. They're the ones that are going to be wiring your commission into the brokerage accounts. You do first encounter the title company about 2 or 3 days after you go into contract. And during that time, they're going to be doing all of the background research work. There's nothing really that you, as the realtor, will need during this process to do, but you will be dealing with them on and off sporadically throughout the real estate transaction process. Now, the reason why we put them at the end of the cycle of the real estate process is because that's where you'll be ending up in their office closing. Now, title companies can close at your clients' homes. You do not have to have them physically come to an office, but they were the last people that you'll deal with um, during your real estate transaction. So one thing I do advise is, you know, is to get with your mentor if they have an upcoming closing, or ask somebody else within the brokerage if they have an upcoming closing. Maybe you can tag along and sit quietly just to kind of see what's going on. When you get to that point where you're at the closing table, really your job's done as the real estate agent. Your job now is just to sit with your client, just make sure everything goes smoothly. Because remember, you are the quarterback, and you just want to make sure that you're there for more emotional support than anything. But that is what is a title company. They are crucial in the process of making sure our clients are purchasing a piece of property clean, free and clear, and everyone gets paid for all the liens and etc. So, without further ado, let's go back and just recap the timelines and the cycle of the real estate transaction.